Alright, so we got another game. Some more Dune, of course. I think the internet's working alright. And I still gotta get my second monitor set up and everything and make sure all my streaming stuff is working, so... Hopefully the sound's okay, hopefully all the settings are fine. I'm getting a little bit of latency issues here, but it's not too bad. Hopefully those will be temporary. Let's try this. Okay, whatever. So we end up getting Yue and Jessica, so we're gonna try to beeline our different kind of research agreements here, right? It's usually a decent start with Jessica. Might as well grab this. These knowledge hubs are really nice.
Here to deal with the heavy stuff. We are ready. Attack! We're listening.
Listening.
At your service, sir. Let's go. On duty. With honor. Need to blow something
And
up.
who's in the lobby here? We have a Hark, we got a Carino, and we have a friendly smuggler with a dope name. So we'll grab these three. We have a nice well of riches down here in the south. Let's see who our neighbors are. This is a corner up here.
Let's go.
So these down here look pretty safe territory-wise. We'll have to have a ornithopter come up here to take a look next.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Come on.
On vector.
Someone's got to be up here.
Okay.
Maybe I can
let's
surround
go.
a deep desert. Okay,
Roger
Smugs
that.
is up there.
Okay. Ready. At your service, sir. The spice must flow.
Ready.
We are ready. Don't look at the explosion, sir. Waiting for your orders.
Let's see over the Carino's over on this side. So we'll have to get a nice bunker for Carino. We'll have to look for a second spice field. We did not get Thufir, unfortunately, so we do have to worry about assassination,
Awaiting orders.
stuff like that.
Attack!
But
Ready.
it's okay. It's not the end of the world. A nice, relaxing game of Dune.
Ready.
So these two deep depths are just give us a bunker here, which would be a really strong little position to defend from. That just means we have to, you know,
Yes, sir.
let's take that.
Let's go.
We'll just have to look down here for a place to expand to. We have at least one safe special. I think expanding beyond that, maybe the Worm's Nest will be our next play. But we'll have to see it out what's
Yes,
here in
sir.
the corner.
On the move. On vector.
Grab that.
Heavy weapon at your service.
Next thing is, do we have any two-win regions? We have this one, which I actually do want to build up. There's some quite nice things there. Might be worth getting kind of early, honestly. Yeah. Alright, let's just do that.
Listening.
We'll grab this
Agreed.
POI for now. Wait for our first agent. We'll grab that one. This here will just be a simple
We're moving.
Intel POI. Always worth picking up. Another main reason to pick up these POIs early is just so you can't get stolen from a greedy Carino with our boy Fenring. It's always a pain in the butt. But with this kind of setup between a rock and a hard place, by that I mean Carino, which late game is always tough, and Smuggler, who early game can be tough, I find that the Rangers are actually a preferred unit to mass early rather than the heavy supports. You can upgrade their range so they can trade, right, against these snipers a little bit better. Grab that, we'll grab that.
Awaiting
Come
orders.
back here, please. We'll get upkeep production here. Okay. So this is probably a spice field down here. And then we might have one more over here somewhere. Might be here in the corner. Though I doubt it. We might have to go down a more of like a Mason's Guild for eco. Okay. Yeah, could be worse. Let's get these, and then we want to get early our armory up relatively early here. We'll actually come down here. Can we get this before the next council? 4 days? I don't think so. Oh well. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This
Okay,
might be a spice
on
field
vector.
here, or a siege rather.
Sir?
Looks like a prime spot for a siege.
Yes, sir.
Let's grab one more of
We
these
are on the
guys.
move.
Awaiting orders.
And yeah, we'll have to go for this. And this, okay, they're in the corner, nice. Well, the riches, quirks or whatever. Let's come down native customs and assimilation then. And I have a beautiful dog here that I'm looking after, who's giving me a look. It's okay. Do you want some attention? There you go. Sweet girl. Thank you for licking me. Thank you. What a good girl you are.
Ready.
Take it. Alright. So since we have a Carino truce here, I think we'll take this region next. And we'll just play high and tight around this, we'll have to do a little bit of some shenanigans here. Let's go for this.
Waiting for your order. Awaiting command. Sir? Okay, let's go.
Sweet.
We're focused.
On duty.
Come grab our spice field next. Want to be tread a little carefully near the center.
Yes.
Keep them grouped.
Oh, we don't want that. Since we have the military one up, we'll actually go military next. This we can hold off on for now. There's our siege. We'll trade with it, of course.
Listening. We're focused.
With honor.
Ready. On the offensive. Fire at will.
Awaiting command.
Yes. Understood. Focus. Fire. On the offensive. Listening. Received.
At your service, sir.
Okay, nice. There's our fuel cell region. So honestly, I think a furnace here would actually hit all these things. Wouldn't be that bad. Let's look over here. Nice. Keep you up.
Ready. We're focused. Awaiting orders.
How can I help?
Sweet. Let's get our ranged upgrade up. What do we want over here?
Yes.
We are ready.
We are short on water, jeez.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
We're focused.
We are on the move. Harvester in working order. Waiting for your order. We are ready.
What do you want?
Ready. Agreed.
Sweet.
Awaiting orders.
Make it worth my time.
Oh.
Let's get to...
We're focused.
Heavy weapon at your service. Sir? Yes, sir. Ready.
Listening.
Actually, fuck that. Let's be greedy.
Harvester in working order.
Siege over here. Looks like in this region.
Yes, sir. On duty. Any orders?
Awaiting orders. Yes. Awaiting orders.
Hmm. Oh, not another one. Let's see here. All right, sweet. Okay. Crano. Siege might be down here? No, I think it's here. It's very close, though. He might end up dropping there.
We are ready. As you command.
Let's do
Need
that.
to blow something up?
Grab that.
Listening. We'll take them out.
Yeah, we'll take this first. Not a big deal. Oh, lordy.
Ready.
Interesting. Beautiful. Okay. Oh my god.
Awaiting command.
We're focused. Ready. Understood.
We're not gonna get the wardens yet, just because we need to get our eco up a little better.
What's your order, sir?
Could actually really use modular parts, though.
Awaiting orders.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh wow, we liberated Crano here. Crano might get base killed.
Yes, sir. On vector.
Let's get started on this. Ah, fuck it. Oop.
Listening.
Any orders?
Yeah, Crano's in a little bit of trouble here. Which I don't mind. Get our warden up so we get cover tactics. Where are you? You know, we could actually go for a Gurney game. We never play Gurney.
Ready.
Be kind of fun. See how Hart's doing here in the corner.
Roger that. On vector. Okay.
Make it worth my time.
Oh, lordy.
We're honored to serve you, my Duke.
Oh, fucker.
At your command. Yes, sir. It's the right move.
Sweet. Must leave oh, still in combat in the village, I guess.
We salute you.
Siege over here in the corner, too. It's unfortunate.
Here to deal with the heavy stuff. Spice crew, reporting.
At your command.
We are ready.
What do you need? My Duke.
Oh, I forgot about that.
On duty.
We'll go, sir. At your command. Listening. We're focused.
Harvester in working order.
Yes, sir?
Spice crew, reporting.
Flascrete's not bad either. Still struggling. Alright. What else can we get? We might as well cap you next. Let's do it the old school way.
Yes. Ready. Understood. Received. Understood. We're focused.
And if I do Gurney, I might as well farm this siege. It's a really nice little high ground for it. Also, we should probably build these up now that we're in a position to do so. So let's get, aw, damn it. That's fine.
We're honored to serve you. We salute you. At your command.
We'll follow whoever this is down to Atreides Foreman.
What do you need? We salute you. Yes? My Duke. Sir? At your command.
Get this guy up. Oh, they just disconnected. Okay. Well, we'll see if we get another one up. Is this it? No, this is it here. Well, let's go check on the dog, and we'll just ready up for now. Since we're on dog duty, that coincides with dogs needing things in about an hour and a half. Hour 20 minutes. It's crazy. It's like clockwork. We'll instead watch this game and enjoy the show. We'll see what Mink's been cooking. While they do that, I am going to construct some furniture. It's very fun. Let's see what we got here. So this is always a fun kind of lobby where you have some of these taller factions and some of these more wide playing factions, right? Fremen tends to be a very wide faction. Hark can honestly go either way. Early game they tend to be a tall faction. Late game they can be far more of a wide faction with the Instill Fear. But that kind of builds up over the course of the game. Carino tends to be pretty tall. But also by the end of the game, if you have Fenring, you're just picking up POIs everywhere. You can also play pretty surprisingly wide. And then Atreides, of course, is wide. So you have a bit of a mix where I expect to see Fremen front running a bit with Atreides to about 10k. Sometimes Hark, if they're just going to go for specials, can do that too. And then Carino catching up a little bit later. But there's also an interesting matchup because these are factions that kind of counter each other in different ways, right? So Atreides will usually get dunked on by Hark. Hark also has assassinations where they don't take Thufir, which this Atreides did not, is pretty brutal against both Fremen and Atreides. Hark is hard countered by Carino. Once, you get a little bit later in the game and you have enough intel production to spam orbitals and have your starter card do the rest. Fremen can counter conscript spam, which tends to counter Atreides. And Atreides just like throwing, your manpower and your money into a well. So you have a bit of counterbalance here, right? With that said, the win cons are also asymmetric. So Fremen's not going to win Gov. Carino theoretically could. Hark usually won't, especially if they don't have Fade Rautha. But it'll basically be Carino and Atreides contesting Gov for the most part. Hegemony, everyone will be having a piece. And then for Chom, it's probably going to be Hark and possibly Atreides. Right? Fremen can't really contest Gov Chom effectively, and Carino also has some difficulties, right? They have Chom manipulation instead of Chom support. So instead of getting better eco with their Chom proportion, they get a stronger military. So looking here at the Carino view, first thing you notice is a couple of these two wind regions. That can usually be worth investing somewhat heavily into your eco. The reasoning is your water is going to scale based on just being adjacent to your main base, not necessarily the wind regions you need. And these are, this quirk is kind of useless actually over here, but this is nice. A versatile hard worker, rare elements. So that can be pretty strong. He's gone with Fenring. He's already picking up these POIs. This is smart, right? As soon as before you even capture your first village, just look at the POIs and pick them up. So finding this early is nice. It's actually a very good siege to ally, and if you didn't have Fremen in the lobby, you might consider it. With this, a Fremen in the lobby, if a Fremen's also their neighbor, I wouldn't risk letting this stay alive. I would pillage this as soon as you can, and use that to drop a main base or something. In terms of the other nearby regions, knowledge production is always useful. Intel production is always useful. So this is a great region early on to put down your investment center office, getting your analyst quirk up. You'll have good passive production. It's also a nice wind region. It's also a water region too. We'll get to see what that one looks like. This over here, this you can pillage, and I would just pillage this repeatedly, almost the entire game, right? Someone else is probably not going to capture this from you, but this is going to be a way for you to keep your economy solvent as you're kind of teching up. And this region over here, so this is probably the trickiest choice for Carino in a lobby with a Hark and Fremen. I'd say also if you had, for example, a smuggler in the lobby, you'd want to get your fuel cell region early, and that's because you need a fuel cell to get your arty drones out. These are going to let you zone out aggression early. The problem with this one is this is not protected by the main base, and it is right next to a siege. And you can see that it's next to a siege, right? And so between these two things, let me turn this down a smidge. Yeah, we'll see if that does it. The problem with taking this region is this can get liberated very, very easily. Now, once you get it, yeah, you can already drone up and try to zone out this area, but it's a little bit risky, and it's right next to a siege. So if he captures this, I expect Fremen to want to come over and liberate this. This would be very easy for them to liberate. So this is a little bit of a trap, seeing this. With that said, it's got recruitment office quirk. It's got a fuel cell on it. It's got nice terrain if you did want to farm this siege. So it's a tough choice. I would not do this if you're more of a novice player, but that's one thing to think about. Second thing is, Carino plays tall, right? So you need to really build out your villages. He's going for a spice field. This is not the right move. Carino's got techs. Every faction has different techs that allow them to build in different ways. So for them to get plasticky production up front with solid materials, really go for this early. Pure administration for investment office quirk and admin consolidation basically replaces the upkeep production you'd get from maintenance center with other factions. So lean into these and lean into integrated costs early, and that'll help you to build tall. Going all the way over here, again, this is just asking to get liberated. And the spice economy for Carino is a lot less important than the non-spice economy. They have nothing special in terms of their spice production over here. What they do have is they get 10 stellar production, everything adjacent to a main base. They get water production and construction cost decrease next to the main base. They have quirk amplification next to the main base. So you want to just go for things around your main base and make the most of it. Here, right, you can get your fuel cell up, do double fuel cell there, get geothermal condensers. It's a decent water region too, but you also have this recruitment office, so you can really go pretty hard into this being a military region that'll sustain your fighting capacity. And since it's next to a siege, put a missile battery down or a military base, right? Up here, this is a phenomenal region, right? This is just going to give you tons of eco. You get 20 base from 2 of these. It's 40 base. It's next to the main base. It's 50 base. And then you can have 3 up to 4 applications of these. So let's just say you have 3, which is pretty achievable. You're looking at 90% production, right? Plus advanced engineering. Right, if you had a Mason's Guild and admin haul up, this is making well over 100 slurry. It's very safe. It won't be affected by spice rates and stuff. And because it's a versatile quirk with hard worker, to trigger this, I would put in, you could do investment office, but I would also, for the red building, put down a manpower building so you get that manpower production bonus on it too. So this might just be a newer Carino player. You know, if you were Atreides, I can understand doing this. If you're Carino, you really want to pillage this region. Probably also, there's a plaster region. You might want to keep this, honestly. But I'd pillage this for sure. If he's going to take this, he should definitely take this as well for plaster, but also just to be able to bunk this up a little bit. Let's take a look over at Harkland. Hark seems maybe a little more comfortable with stuff. This is pretty typical to go for about 1 of each. Early on, Arrakis Butcher is going to help you to sustain your manpower production as you pillage stuff. It's still Fear, just gives you that slow grind into being able to capture everything late game. Work ethic's really great. Manpower and plasticky production with the maintenance center. And he's gone with Kronvatia, which is kind of fun, right? You can pillage, or you can oppress your villages to construct faster. But you have to also remember that once you're done, you do need to build your militia so you don't have that decrement to your production that Hark has inherently. So you see right here, everything's at in the red here in terms of production because he does not have any militia in these villages. If he puts militia in here, you'll see the production of these increase. But this is a decent start here. Got a Plaskert region, great, and then he's got a nice spice field here too. So he's going to have a little hub here for production. Well, let's take a look without the fog of war. Yeah, so this is a great bunker. This is going to be a great bunker, right? He's going to have a spice field, his plastic production, and have a second one here, so he could put down his furnace here if he wanted onto this bunker. This is a fine region. It will put him into contact and in conflict with the Fremen, though, which, you know, Fremen into Heart can be a tough, almost unwinnable kind of fight. It depends on who has the momentum. There being a space cruiser wreck here, he can't let Hart grab this. That would be catastrophic. Because once that Overlord's up, that alone is just going to be able to wipe the mostly melee army of Fremen. Now, Fremen's gone for the spice field up here because, I suspect, it has the siege. Let's take a look at Fremen's view. So Fremen sees Carino and sees Hark. Looks like they are opting to come up here. One, because there's a siege, but two, because this probably help him or her rather to win this region away from Carino. This will basically doom Carino, though, right? Fremen taking this basically means they have to take this, then they have to kill the base. So there's a series of chain of reactions that happen when you take a region like this and you're going to contest another region. And one of those things is that if you take a region next to someone's main base, they're going to fight you off that region no matter what. I don't know if Fremen's going to lean into it, but it would be fun to watch. So I'm for it. Fremen's already going to be in conflict with Hark over this cruiser wreck, I suspect. Could definitely get the rest of this desert if Carino's dead, and has a really, really great, if you take a look out here, really, really great start and spawn if they're able to do that. With that said, Atreides is going to take this one next to their main base, and there's area here for them to put turrets down. So this is going to be a really hard region to defend regardless. But I like it as like a staging area. You can always run over here with donkeys especially and pillage this serially so it can't be captured. That's one way to get around this. Keep it perpetually pillaged so it can't be captured by Atreides. But eventually it'll be annexed, you know. And then is what it is. And yeah, I mean, this is just going to be a little tough here, right? You see Hark's getting their manpower up, getting a missile battery up there. They should have butchers coming up soon. They are really struggling on the knowledge production, and Hark really does need knowledge. So I'd actually get lay of the land probably before intelligence network, but this is fine. I mean, maybe you're just doing this to get some lands outstanding. This is again a chomable sort of faction makeup for Hark. And then over here in the south, we see a few very fun things for Fremen. Really, Fremen's just being encouraged to be aggressive, and I love it. There's a great volcano here, which is awesome. I'd argue it's probably the best special region for Fremen. You have an acid lakes, and you have all this within a bunker next to the main base. So, kind of asking for some southern expansion here. And honestly, taking these two regions and bunkering this up here, it would be really hard for Hark to push into this. Has two very safe spice fields, has a third one up here, has a siege up here to reinforce. Actually has very nice wind regions. This come in a Shaboom map, baby. But I think I think Fremen has to make a decision here, right? Do I want to try to kill off Carino and get this desert in the north, and then do a 2v1 for the rest of the game? Or do I want to try to take this, push Hark back? But again, this is kind of one of those chain reaction issues, right? Let's say you take this region, the spice field, off of Hark. This region is sharing construction space with this region with this region. So all three of these would have to go. You can't just take this and let Hark sit here with missile batteries and like another bunker. So if Fremen decides to take this off of them, Fremen has to be prepared to take off these two as well. And this is next to Carthage, so it's one of these situations where you kind of have to make a decision at some point in terms of your aggro and how you want to handle this. Realistically, you won't capture just this region. You will be in conflict over these two as well. And the same goes for Hark, right? This is a very sensible expansion for both of them. It's kind of whoever gets their first blood advantage in defending it. But for obvious reasons, you don't want Hark to get Overlord production up. that leaves Atreides, who's actually in a really, really comfortable spot over here. There's a sandfall down to the corner. There's some spice fields that look pretty dang safe. I don't see anything crazy for places for a great furnace, unfortunately. And they have, yeah, some sieges back here, but nothing crazy. And you know, if Fremen does decide to aggro into Carino, Worm's Nest, a couple other safe spice fields over here, Crescent Ridge, yeah. So three pretty safe specials, including Worm's Nest at the top. And then this basin should be pretty defensible for Atreides too. They have that same situation as Hark, right? They have their spice fields here. They have some overlapping terrain for their bunkers. It kind of forces them to want this one too, since it shares building space. And taking this region is now, again, very close to Carthax. So it's one of these kind of chain reaction issues of the bunkerable terrain that will force some conflict. Okay. So we're entering month 2. Hark is still really struggling with knowledge production. I think focusing a bit more on pillaging and amping this up. Only 5 knowledge is not nearly enough. So I would probably err on taking regions that are good rather than necessarily next to each other. This might be an exception where you want to take this bunker before Fremen does, sure. But, you know, pillage all this stuff. Maybe take your spice field. Maybe take a Plaskrit region. Take Sandfall for sure. Pillage the rest, but always build that knowledge and try to build that Plaskrit too. I know it's expensive, but that's why you can pillage as Hark pretty easily. They really need knowledge to be able to get their tech up, because right now he's going to fall behind here with only 5 knowledge. Carino's in a similar sort of issue up here. Again, maybe not going down the most ideal of tech paths. Not really using to the best of their ability the quirk amplification. Able to get another fuel cell up here, though. That's good. Fremen in Fremenland. Awesome. Kind of unusual to get a Racket Secret as Fremen just because Chome's not a super loved option. But getting the red tech that they need is a great idea. And this could be a really good timing, actually. Parallel training and Stalwart Alliance, right? Because with Fremen, and especially, I don't have Jamis over here, but once you hit parallel training, that's a time where you can really just churn out units and use Stalwart Alliance to start capturing regions like this. Now, there's no bunker here. If there's a bunker here, I think Fremen can take this and hold it. Without a bunker, I think that's going to be pretty tough to take.
Ready for control.
With that said, you know, it's not the end of the world. They have their donkeys up. This is admirable. This is almost ideal. Let's take a look at Landstrad. We have scientific progress shot down by both the Fremen and the minor houses. Carino's going to take and run with their construction decrease. Awesome. So yeah, this might be a relatively weak Carino. Atreides just needs to get to their late game. Let's take a look at Atreides here with 12 knowledge. Excellent. You can see Lay of the Land, his UA, his building knowledge in their villages. Again, really, really important. So right now, yeah, I mean, Fremen and Atreides seem to have more ideal setup right now. Now, this is always something to think about as Fremen, right? Normally, yeah, it's going to be pretty dependent on how you're fighting with how these fights will go, especially in the early game. This is a fight I would take. Hark is low on health and low on supply. Worming in and wiping this gives Fremen a pretty big lead in terms of manpower. That's going to be enough of a lead where you can come in and start actually liberating these. And I think if you wipe this army when it's out pillaging, you can actually get rid of these. Now, do you want to? Who knows? But I have a suspicion that Hark's going to come back for the Space Cruise wreck. Probably to capture it, but I think also maybe just to pillage it and decrease the cost with Instill Fear. I would be prepared as Fremen to fly in and try to wipe this out. In terms of target priority, the Serbs are really, really strong, right? these split Serbs are really, really strong once they die. They have more health, more damage. They're really, really annoying to deal with. If you're running away from a Serb, it will kill your unit. They have a bleed effect that does like something insane. It's like 40 or 50 damage per second as long as you're running from it, and it seems to stack. So it can absolutely destroy a unit if you're running. But you need skirms. You want to target fire them. They die pretty quick, and once they split, it amplifies damage further. And then for the rest of them, I mean, the troopers are pretty similar to the Fremen warriors in terms of their attack. They tend to be a little less tanky and a little more DPS oriented. But that'd be a really opportune moment to actually initiate this conflict. Is when they go out to pillage, you take a look, you have a hiding tracks down, maybe even a supply drop, then you worm in for that battle. Now, Fremen's up here. They're going to capture Well of Riches. I like this play a lot. There's no siege to reinforce on this territory, but there's one close enough. And so Fremen going to liberate this, I think it's a good idea. Will they win this specific fight? I actually don't think so, no. I don't. But what they can do is a little bit of diversion, right? You spawn a guy here to trigger liberation or pillage. You have Stalwart Alliance, so it's going to call some homies in. And then you put down a hiding tracks on this territory. It'll keep everything stealthed. And then he's going to be forced to figure out, does he want to try to defend this territory with the missile turret and the militia, or is he going to come back here? The moment he moves out from underneath this turret, that's when you worm in and you strike. So that's kind of how I'd think about this, is use your sieges, use Stalwart Alliance to, your advantage. And this is the time to do it. This part of the game, killing those, even just a couple extra raiders, is actually a lot of... It can require more than you think. What else do we have here? Picking up these for Plasker is always a good idea, since you have a Stilgar. Yeah, Fremen's taking this. I think taking Observatory Mounts is another good idea. Again, you gotta... The issue with Carino here is they can also look at this and say, okay, I'm gonna play it really high, and I'm just gonna drop here, right? And this is actually a fine drop. Quirk-wise, does it help a whole lot? Not really. It does give you adjacency to these two specials, though. And that's all you need. You just need two specials of Carino to win on Hedge. Let's look over here in Atreides land. They are finally getting some red tech eventually. Maybe I spoke too soon. They're not even close to getting a whole lot of red tech, but they don't really need to. They're in peace. Let's take a look. So, Carino, as we mentioned before, flying a little too close to the sun with this ambitious... man, we missed it while I was on the phone. The keyboard is broken. I don't think the keyboard's going to save him from this issue here. Again, this is just not how you want to play Carino. You don't need these spice fields this far away. You want to play tall around your base. You want to amplify your quirks. Build this up further, for sure. Getting your fuel cells up, good idea. Getting an arty drone up, also a good idea. But we'll see. Again, he can recover. And this is also a time for Hark to kind of push it, too. And so the other thing you can think about, right? Let's say you're cross map, Fremen's doing this, and it's gonna fucking blow up Krino or you know, get a Krino severely crippled. If you're at the cross map there, in a lobby like this, you can maybe sneak in a triple blue or 2 double blues and go for a gut rush with Atreides, right? You can get your Lance Rat support. You can put agents on your Lance Rat to build that up. You can get your treaties up, and you can just go for charters. And Fremen won't be able to contest you in terms of influence. They'll have to really rely on Hark's votes and Hark getting influence to contest a gov push. But that's one way you can think about it. The second way of thinking about it is, okay, Fremen's going to kill off someone who has about 10% chom. You can also chom against Fremen. Fremen's not effective at choming. So if you see something like this, the way you can react is you can let it happen. You can take advantage by taking these regions you want off Fremen. Or, you know, you could say, hey, maybe a dead Carino's not a bad idea for me. Maybe I can have the safe worm's nest in the corner. Maybe I can, you know, expand in the back here and maybe sneak Great Volcano off them. So Fremen's here. I think they're missing out on a military base, which is kind of surprising. But I would do that, and I would definitely liberate this.
Weapons have no loyalty to their maker.
It looks like maybe they're trying to strike a deal. Again, the only problem here is this is right next to Carino's main base. So this is a place for a base drop, a very safe base drop. Also, if you're in this rut, I would not go for an embassy here. I'd probably want to get triple red up. And then here's what we spoke about before. Hark coming in for the cruiser wreck, getting up an Overlord is going to be really, really nice for them. It's arguably the best capital ship in the game. Then Fremen is, looks like Fremen is chatting with Carino, probably to, oh, okay, saying liberate that and we are in peace, maybe. Interesting. That's very, wouldn't have expected that. And then Carino is going to chat with Hark. Now, why are they chatting? Maybe Carino's giving Hark a heads up. Hey, Fremen's going to come attack you. Interesting. And Fremen's actually got a few spice fields here now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, should be 5 up there. 5 spice fields for Fremen, even if you don't have your yellow tech for spice, is going to make you a little bit of money. But more importantly, with Ramallo, it'll give you a ton of intel production. So I'd actually want to get that up ASAP so I can really start getting my operations spammed.
Do you need us? We are waiting.
Okay. So yeah, a little bit of an unusual setup here. Carino is reaching out to each faction. Atreides is responding with something. Atreides and Carino have an aggression pact, non-aggression pact. With Ramallo, or with Jessica rather, they should be really offering research and trade agreements since they're free for upkeep rather. And yeah, Fremen's coming down here to get the cave. Great. I'd also grab this right now and put a bunker here, and that'll prevent Hark from aggressing you upon these regions. And this is a bold move, Cotton. Again, this is the prime opportunity for them to worm in and attack this, right? And Fremen has an opportunity here to also put a missile battery, just to anticipate this, right? Okay, they're going military base here, good. See, is this a pillage or a cap? Looks like they're just waiting to cap it. And capping this would be... I wouldn't recommend this normally against a Fremen. If you don't know whether they have Jamis, this is arguably going to give them 70, authority, putting this down here. Now, you can actually tell if you're Hark, right? What you do is, let's say you have a visual on one of the Fremen units here. You can click on them and see what bonuses they have, right? And so if you see the Sandkiller bonus provided by Jamis, then that's what they have. But Othaim's up. This is kind of the Fremen power spike moment. They hit 10k at around month 3.5. And so this is when they should really be thinking about pushing Hark off this right before Hark can get up and running. Hark here has got 24 manpower production. Is pretty good. It's not what it needs to be, but it's good enough for them to be able to afford a bigger army than what they have. Do we have hiding tracks that's coming up? Okay, so Fremen is preparing everything they need to dookie on this army and start liberating this stuff. And again, I think you deal with this first. Looks like Atreides is maybe eyeing aggression on Fremen, or maybe there's the capture the street. I'm not entirely sure what Atreides is thinking right now. They do not seem to have their agents allocated on Arrakis, though. It's a little missed opportunity. All right, here's the Fremen aggression on Cruiser Wreck. Hark should be queuing up more units to come in and fight. And Fremen should also come up here. So putting a building here for Fremen in this little build area is going to let them replenish supply and also health in a smaller radius around the building. So let's see if we can get this to show. So if you see here, this little lining in white, this is a resupply and heal area provided by the building. So if you look around, right, little bubble here, little bubble here. So if you have a region, let's take a look at Fremen. Maybe Fremen's done it somewhere else. Here, right? If you have a region here and you put down a building towards the edge, you can resupply and heal in neighboring regions as long as they're within that supply circle. So this is something where here in the middle, right, Fremen can put down a missile battery here, come up, liberate this, and then resupply and heal while liberating it. So it's always nice to look for these little bunkers and little adjacent areas and think about, yeah, normally you want to have them in a region near the main base, but sometimes you want to actually use these strategically to give you a supply circle that's further from you. Let's take a look at Landsrad here. Gear regs. This is exactly what Fremen does not want to see. Fremen has no votes. The question is controlled markets. Where's that going to go? It'll ruin someone's day. And we can already see here Hark with the Spacing Guild branch. So if you're playing as Fremen or anyone else and you open up your Landsrad counter and you see that their production is -3, then you know that they're using that for something, and in this case it happens to be building an Overlord early. So Fremen got a controlled markets on them, gear regs. Man, that is brutal. And so Fremen's a -74 right now. Pretty bad. Fedaykin tend to be really expensive. They have double the upkeep cost of other units per CP. So they can be kind of rough to afford. Now what can you do here? You can always delete Plascrete buildings if you can afford to. Fremen, still kind of early. I wouldn't quite do that. Okay. We have hiding tracks up. I would stay in the circle. And again, you want to have your warriors in front. You want to keep Othame in the back and stealthed. But the rest of this should mop this up. We have combat drugs up. Awesome. And again, Othame, just keep Othame nearby and stealth. Do not engage in combat with Othame. And never run from the Serbs, right? Serbs will melt. But you got to kill them first. Once they split, you're in a better spot. But they need to die first. If you run from these Serbs, they will wipe you. Fremen should be able to finish this. And right now, it looks like they are targeting the warriors. You want to really go for these Serbs. These Serbs are where the DPS is at. There you go. Nice. Good finish. And right now, Fremen needs to get more skirmishers up and then come up here and liberate this. Now we see the base drop from Carino. This is a very weird base drop, actually. I don't know if I like this. One, you get rid of a fuel cell, but you could argue they have a fuel cell up here, so it's okay. It's next to a siege, so yeah, you can pillage this and get eco up and some authority, and then come down here and try to take this spice field. And it's next to a special region, so I can understand a reason for doing this, but this also means this base will have to die by Fremen, so a little tough. Now, because they wiped the army here, I would come up. Okay, wow, interesting. Fremen's going to pillage this. And I don't know. I actually might want to just take this as Fremen. prevent them from having to have a bunker here, you know? Atreides looks like they are just farming this region. If you're going to farm something, I'd probably farm a region that is not going to maybe have a worm in between. But they can also afford to just go out and pick stuff up now. Okay, good. They're taking this. Okay. Let's take a look over here in Harkland. They got double red up. Trino is going, looks like triple blue in the top. They're waiting for the monument to, for some reason. If you have the opportunity to get your Emperor monument up as Trino, always just put that down as one of your first buildings. It'll give you a passive hedge throughout the game. By the end of the game, it's usually about 2K's worth of hedge that you build just from that one building. But it'll also double the applications of other stuff. So you put it in the 1 slot, you have a double research bonus on blue. If you put it in the 2 slot and you have a 1 in the yellow here, right next to a 15% cost reduction on your yellow text. So it's an opportunity. It's a really, really strong main base building for Trino. And now Fremen's going to do the Fremen thing, which is going around pillaging stuff and attacking, and I love it. They are probably, yeah, their eco's in the pits here, right? And they still don't have all of their sieges, their spice fields up. So they have this one here they can use, and this one up here that they negotiated off of Carino. Let's take a look at the Fremen main base. So they get a Bazaar down here. This is going to help a lot. So Bazaar early, especially if you have Stilgar, is super important. This just gives you passive Slurry and passive water, which for Fremen, if you're going with this kind of build with Stilgar, you get early trinkets, you can get these up, and then when you ally those sieges, it'll just give you a huge eco boost. So, you know, this is giving 1.2 knowledge. This could be an additional 1.2 with valuable trinkets. This can be up to 24 water with trinkets, right? And you can look around, and all of these are basically a building or two's worth of resources, right? So that's maybe one thing I'd think about if I were Fremen, is an earlier Bazaar or Sand Brotherhood. This also reduces the research costs of these things. So if you go for earlier green tech, then you build this in the 1 slot, you'll reduce the cost of your yellow, red, and blue, but you won't really reduce the cost of your green tech. So I'd usually like to come down, get Dialect, Wisdom, Outpost, Sand Brotherhood to get the Bazaar up, and as the Bazaar is building, hit Desert Watchers and Trinkets. And then you can flush out the rest of this and use that cost reduction from the Bazaar to decrease the cost of these other techs. Fremen seems like they've rebuilt. They're at 45 CP. Ideal Cap's coming up. Military propaganda, awesome. Lance Red should be ending soon. Yeah, 3 days. Anyone going for any charters? Not yet. And I think Fremen's okay to pillage these spice regions too. But then you start thinking about, okay, am I going to go for this main base? Am I going to try to push Hark off this bunker? Am I going to come down here and just terrorize Hark a bit? If you have Jamis, then it's a good idea. Without Jamis, you know, liberation's great. Is it necessary? Pillaging might give you a lot more money. And so maybe you want to pillage this region that's empty instead and liberate it some other time, you know.
What do you need?
The nice thing you do with Oatham here, just send a few units up here to clear this. 5 units with Oatham is going to hit like a fucking truck against Hark here. It'll 5 Fremen units will probably wipe all this army that that Hark has if used with Oatham. So he's flying in. This is a little dangerous. 1, we need stealth on Oatham, and 2, Oatham needs to just stay out of combat and stealthed. He's got to protect Oatham. Now, as these guys come in, you'll see, as soon as they land, you'll see the Oatham effect kick in. So each of these units will decrease. Everyone within Otham's radius here, this long-range radius, that belongs to an enemy is going to give every other enemy unit minus 3% damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 stacks of minus 3% on each of these guys. And as they split, they'll do even more. And so Oatham just needs to be nearby, put as many enemy units as you can into this circle. and that'll maximize your effect from Othame. Now, you can also, if you have 7 units plus Othame, or rather only 7 units, 7 or fewer units within Othame's circle here, you can use this ability. This will give an additional 20% damage and decrease damage received by 20%. So you can send some of these guys off, but yeah, this should be okay. I think Othame's fine here. But again, focus the Serbs, kill the Serbs, then the rest of this goes pretty easy.
Ready for violence.
Listen to the sound.
I'll respect my words.
So just take a look here, right? -6 there. As more of these split, it goes up and down, up and down. And uh-oh, if Othame gets wormed, we are in trouble. Oof, that was close. Awesome. So Othame's able to do this. Again, kill the airfield next. Kill the refinery, the water. Pray that there's no toxic vapors coming up. And then, Fremen taking this region as a bunker here isn't a terrible idea. It's just not great terrain. Let's take a look. Hark is not building their Overlord anymore. Okay, it's just under rebellion right now. Got it. So Atreides is, I guess, doing their best to do Atreides stuff and sit back here and, you know, turtle up and play it passive. Foreman, Liberator, this is fine. Stainless Spying is really good, though, and it should always be something you think about. And again, I think playing this lobby, you'd look at this and say, okay, Carino's a bit weak. Hark is maybe not playing anything politically, and it's Fremen cross map. I would go for politics here. And again, if Fremen's weakening their neighbors, they're not going to be able to contest you if you go for Gub and can grab it and bunker up a bit. For our dear Hark friend here, a little bit of chome, nothing crazy. Looks like someone's been selling off, and crew training, chome's for it, great. Adrenaline addiction is really important for them, and martial economy if you're going to go with Kronvatia, right? Extra militias, extra production on your village, but also this Office of Order will let certain villages that you have oppressed fight those rebellions on their own. So I think this is definitely worth getting, martial economy. And if you do get an Office of Order, you have to remember that it has a massive upkeep in manpower. So you have to basically have an extra 1 or 2 buildings of manpower for every 1 Office of Order you have. Okay, great. And this is a very nice little spice field here. Ingenious Mines, got Ingenious Mines quirk. Fremen has still not gotten spice fields in these other regions. I think the other thing you can do as Fremen is getting Desert Watchers makes you stealth in your regions. So get Desert Watchers. Now they won't necessarily know where you all are, but your harvesters will also be stealth in these regions. And this is amazing. So you actually see Carino chatting with Hark back and forth throughout all of this. Undoubtedly planning a little bit of revenge against Fremen. But this is a very smart play from Fremen, right? Grab this, bunker this little region up here, right? This little natural bunker. It's going to let Fremen hold this with far fewer units. And the nice thing with Othame, I don't see a lot of people take advantage of, is that this ability is map-wide. This is 50% extra damage. So if you have 1 Fadakin, a couple of donkeys, maybe a skirm and a warrior and an infiltrator, that alone is going to have massive DPS, right? Keep them near a bunker like this, and if you have border defenses, the militia being stealth when they spawn, the other bonus you get with Fremen and you know, defensively in a situation like this, that alone can actually defend against a much larger army, including a Hark force, and can punch way up. So that's one consideration I would make for Fremen here.
We trust you, Liet. We're listening.
Everything else looks groovy.
On the lookout.
Awesome. For these skirmishers, this is almost never worth it, this plus 10% damage. For the Fremen skirmishers, the damage that they have already passively is increased 20% per enemy unit hit, but the actual power they have is very small. So for every additional enemy, you're basically getting 0.5, um, or rather, that gear upgrade basically gives them 0.5 extra damage against everyone, right? But you're probably better off with Fremen going for minus 10% damage received. It'll make all of your units a little more tanky. They get all of the damage amplification they need from their passive. That's 20% per enemy unit hit. Their big limiting issue is that they have such low power that they're really only effective against unarmored units. So practically, you're not going to be doing almost any damage with that upgrade. Okay, you see Fremen over here with the little split force on this side of the map. Awesome. And again, over here, I think about bunkering this up for the same reason I mentioned before. These bunkers let you really protect and fight on 2 fronts. 3 fronts, I think, is pushing it, but 2 fronts definitely doable with Oath Aim. Okay, especially if you get border defenses up. So, yeah, cool. Okay, so Frem's actually gonna go for a base kill. I love this. The base kill for Fremen is a little bit unusual in that it tends to want more of these donkeys to be used. These donkeys are very good DPS for Fremen, and you don't have to be underneath the base either. But donkeys, Fadakin, and Infiltrator tend to be their real damage dealers against bases. With siege incentives, and if you have, they don't yet have defense breaches up, you need 2 on Lance Rad for that. But infiltrators, if you have defense breaches up or someone nukes a base for you, infiltrators will chew through a base. They're the most effective once you get enough caves up as well. So we've got 1 cave potentially up here. We got a volcano cave not yet built. We have a 3rd cave coming up here, which is actually not yet built either. So 4 caves is enough that infiltrators are going to be worth it for a base kill. The problem with infiltrators is that they are very glass cannony. And when they cluster underneath the base, a single shot from this base is going to do a ton of damage into that blob. Donkeys you can spread out, you can micro bit. They're great for picking away at stuff. They have a lot of good utility. Alright, great. Frem is grabbing this region over here, the siege region. It's always smart. Let's take a look at Fremen's tech. So, siege incentives, I like it. Desert Watchers, I like it. Shared Transcendence, sure. Trinkets and Sand Diplomats really important. Those are kind of the big core ones that Fremen's still missing. Triple red coming up for Carino finally. They're waiting on their triple blue still. We don't have any politics done, but someone's bumping speaker. I'm going to assume it's Atreides, but it could also be Carino. And okay, some Sard sent to Hark, lore accurate, and they're gonna make a play back for this cruiser wreck again. Are they still making their Overlord? They are. Okay, so this is smart. I would also pick off one of these guys just to pick up this cruiser scrap. Fremen looks like they see this and are going to mobilize. I like it. And Fremen has Ideala Crab, so they'll be able to get over there pretty quick. They're just waiting for a wormable territory here. Do they have a supply drop? They do. Awesome. Okay, it's just a pillar. So in and out. This is too fast for Fremen to have responded to here. They're going to cap that. They're going to try anyway. But I suspect they're just going to go for the middle instead. Yeah. Smart from Hart going in and out like that.
What's our next step?
Oh, pairing arm guards from Executioner. Meat stacks is always the right answer for Executioners. It's just the best gear, arguably, in the game. There can be a case to be made that you can try it against Carino without it, but usually it's just worth it. Just focus down the stars instead. Now, he's going to actually try to, I assume, pillage Acid Lakes. He's not going to try to take this. But there's no militia here, and there's no bunker yet developed, so this is a little bit of a misplay from Fremen to forget this. They have plenty of manpower to afford that, too. I believe they have, yeah, they have a Hidden Thumpers here ready. So this army should get wiped, and that's then the trigger for Fremen to go for liberation here, right? Yeah, so this is not the play. You will not hold this against Fremen on Acid Lakes. I would try to pillage this instead. Now, this could also just be a misdirection, right? Bring Fremen over here and then have Krino attack this region. That's possible, but got Hidden Thumpers here. We're gonna have some issues here with supply as well if we're not careful. Okay, this is smart for him to come back underneath this turret. Again, it's only a small part of the Fremen army here. All the rest is back here. These guys could easily clear these little Serbs, right? So this is now an overextension from Hark, who will lose this army. The big danger for Fremen is if Othame begins running from a Serb, Othame will die. Othame has very little health at base. There you go. Easy money. So yeah, a couple turrets here, and this is a much harder thing to push. And then Fremen can go in and take this out. The other thing you can think is, as Fremen, which people don't often think about, is using these donkeys, take out the Ornithopter, and kill these crude harvesters. These are, you know, 80 to 160 manpower for each of them. Do we have a supply drop coming down? We don't have a supply drop, so this is, or is it down right now? I just can't see it. No, yeah, just needs supply. So don't lose Othame to that, and going into Acid Lakes won't help either. Oh no, Othame's gonna die. Oh. Yeah. Decently big misplay losing Othame like that, but this is also a region where you'd want to have a building here against the edge to resupply in that enemy territory, right? You can see as soon as they get within this bubble, they start healing up, and their supply and health go back up, so... Hopefully we can re-afford Othame, and we can. Awesome. We got Krino sitting on 500 authority. Jeez. Just take these regions at that point. Triple red, they're not built up. They're still missing out on these, you know, 4 of the same color for upkeep reduction. They only have a few regions here. They also haven't pillaged this. They've actually gone for trucing it, which is also an opportunity. Krino's knowledge is 11. 12 it's not as high as kind of you want it. Let's take a look at Lancerad here. Speaker's going to be up next, and it looks like Krino will be able to take it. Probably to Atreides' dismay. And then Shomeland, everything seems pretty mellow. Alright, Landsred, we'll see who wins this next chapter. Atreides, of course, being the Atreides rat that Atreides always must be, is taken the middle. Is building a bunker with a missile battery and airfield. Now, you know, Fremen gets to come over here and liberate this, which, again, huge pain in the butt. It's an opportunity to put your own missile batteries here and just be prepared, I guess. But, yeah, as Atreides begins to work their way in here, Krino should really be working on exactly expanding here. Looks like, yeah, Fremen's abandoned this territory. They are still in truce with Krino. Nice. Desert Watchers, Trinkets, Wonders, gonna play the authority game. Yeah, Fremen aggression is over exaggerated. They are unfairly maligned by the off-worlders. Let's take a look what else we have for Fremen. So we have some very good sieges here. I would love to ally these up. Trinkets is a great idea for these, but also allying these up to get your main base buildings up is a very good idea. One thing is these yellows, right? Getting up a Mason's Guild is very, very good for Fremen. Again, you're playing wide at this point in the game. If we compare how many regions they have, they've got 9 regions total. Atreides got 10, Carino on 5, and Hark on 8. And so if you could imagine those 9 regions all built out, with Mason's Guild, it's 90 passive Solari income per day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that means in the course of a month you're making an extra, nearly 3K. More than that, actually, because it gets amplified by stuff like Versatile and its other quirks. So that's one thing I think about for Fremen is allying these up and building your main base buildings, and then now you're 10K. Here, an Algae Temple, or you can rearrange, right? You can put your research center in here, and then you can get a double yellow here. It's not as important. I'd actually rather have yellow buildings in these sieges and then get double blue for a more intel and influence production. And then here you have this upkeep production on this building will make Fremen solvent, right? Looking at the cost of what they need, recruitment offices, research hubs, all this stuff, all of that is stuff that can be reduced in upkeep cost by allying the siege. So you actually save a fair bit. You usually see your income pop up somewhere between 50 and 100 once you ally up the toolmakers. So getting that is not a bad idea. And lastly, the militia siege, right? If you're expecting to be attacked, especially on multiple fronts, this is a very, very important siege for you to ally. In addition, this is probably how you should have your Fremen triple red. But getting your barracks here is going to help you to max out your experience, but also give that extra 10% health. So I think these are sieges I would definitely ally up. I'd probably also ally up this one, since you have Ramallo and you can use these your intel pretty effectively. It's also nice to be a leading force here. Some of these other things are not going to be necessarily taken from you by Atreides, but looking at the overall board, right? Atreides is actually playing this pretty smartly. They are right behind Fremen. Everyone seems kind of unbothered by it, surprisingly, but they're at 17K with 30 passive. And it's Atreides, right? You're not going to push them off bunkers easily. You're going to sacrifice your land strat by betraying them. It's very tough to deal with Atreides, and Atreides has a pocket crescent ridge here in the back they haven't touched. So at this point of the game, I think Atreides wins this, even though they seem maybe to be playing a little suboptimally. Right, still working on their main base, not really built out fully. Let's see how that shakes out. Let's see if anyone's planning an assassination. Okay, just that guy. In Harkland, going enhanced questioning. Okay, good. So yeah, probably needs to come down to nefarious contacts, buying mastery. In almost every game, though, you're still going to come down for your craft workshops somewhere. We're month 6, so it's pretty late in the game at this point, into the nice mid to late game. Again, this is kind of an issue with just knowledge production from Hark. Actually, it looks a lot better now. Jeez, yeah. So they filled out a bit. Carino still struggling a bit. Fremen's up here. Good. You can either do this for experience farming or just for the parts, but
Arrakis belongs to the Fremen.
I think personally here it's probably worth just farming this for experience. And, drop a scav team down. Make some money off it too. With Ramallo you can actually make decent, somewhat decent intel production for Fremen, so I think it's a good idea. They have some water. Jeez, what's going on here? Oh, they got a Crescent Ridge of their own. Now this is also an interesting opportunity. So Fremen's actually got a few treaties up right now. So you can see Active Alliance is 1.5 minus, and then 3 Sieges Allied. Sieges Allied are Rack is hard, always worth getting, because this also affects your authority production, so it kind of offsets itself. And got recycling vats for more water. Cool. Then the other sieges, this one here, upkeep production, we're getting our Masons Guild in, awesome. And then our last one's up here, always worth allying the Fremen scientists for more knowledge, and we see intelligence agency up there. So all these are great. Operations-wise, we see hiding tracks, hidden thumpers, supply drop, awesome. Ceasefire from Atreides, gross, I want to bomb it. Let's see what Atreides is now annexing. I'm sure it's something horrible. Okay, they still haven't explored half the map, so not too much of a threat there, I guess.
Sir, waiting for your order.
We see a Ramsham. Okay.
Majesty.
Ramsham is fun, but doesn't really do a whole lot that the your Sards won't do. So it's usually worth going for a heavier conscript build with Sards and Winsikia. With that said, you can do a Sard build with the Ramsham. It's not bad into these two factions. Into Atreides a lot harder, because you'll have so much attrition into the range units. Okay, let's take a look here. I suspect Karina's going to take Speaker and hold it. What's up at this point? They're already Gov eligible. That's interesting. Water Sellers. Okay. This could have been a very sneaky Gov play from Creo, actually. Would have caught me by surprise. And you see Fremen's already capped on their influence. They really need to get that Algaib Temple up in one of these blue sieges over here, maybe. Carthage is getting built out finally for triple blue. It's a fun play. We got a triple red, double red from Carino. So we've got some interesting stuff emerging here. It's kind of late in the game. We're going to hit 20k hedge very soon with Fremen and Atreides, and the other two are going to be pretty far behind. But I suspect Hark is going to be looking more of a Chomi sort of thing, and Atreides might be going for just a standard sort of game with hedge and Gov as backup. So here we are, we're farming for experience. It's always worth doing again. If you're floating manpower at all, if you have time, if you got intel, just drop that, farm this for experience. The experience you get on these units is going to go a long ways to making your army, especially as Fremen, a lot more competitive in late game. This is smart. And you know, if you don't go with Otham, if you do go with Chani, killing these units also will give you intel. So in a way, you're also just producing resources by doing this kind of farming. Now we see some Hark units. I assume they're coming here to pillage the spice field? But they may also be trying to provoke... Oh no, they're attacking. Okay. They're not going to win this fight. It's not even missile battery down. And I don't even think these... Yeah, we don't have the militia siege allied up yet. That's a bold move. Especially in Acid Lakes. I don't know what he's thinking there. Now, do we have a bunker over here? Perfect, we do. So in this region here from Fremen, we have a nice bunker, these 2 missile batteries. And again, I think with like 3 or 4 more units here, you can probably defend this against a pretty big army. If the Overlord's there, all bets are off the table. You got to deal with that on its own with some donkeys. It's tough to isolate capital ships like that. One thing you can do is you can attack them over here, and as the army's moving over to defend, as they fly over rather, you can worm in your donkeys to kill the Overlord, and you can flee with the other one, right? That's one way you can kind of sometimes get around this, but otherwise the Overlord's very hard to deal with. The initial burst of damage is pretty brutal. And we are at 104, so I think we're just waiting on fuel cells for the Overlord. Yeah, that's all. Do we have any fuel cell regions? We don't... Oh, no, they have one up here. Okay. So maybe, yeah, they could also put a fusion plant in there. Okay. And Atreides is still doing their thing. With Atreides, you know, you can either keep this here just to farm this stuff as it comes to attack, but I think farming this Renegade base actively as Atreides is always worth it, since all of your gear can benefit from that extra experience. A little bit of a detente here. We've got Hark working on Hark stuff. Should go without saying. And this is a pretty wide Fremen playstyle. They are not actually capping a lot of territories, but which can be dangerous for many different reasons, right? One reason, of course, is that searching this with a cell search is a lot tougher, right? If you if she captures this one spice field, she can search all these with one cell search instead of two. Up here, again, you got one cell search for these, one for this, one for this, one for this. So you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cell searches. It's way too much to defend an assassination. And then you got to think, okay, well, where am I getting assassinated from? Down here. But this is within running distance for Hark. This is, you know, these border regions are obviously doable. So these ones back here are just a little tough to get to. Okay, but Sandfall is still untaken. Atreides floating 400 authority, geez. And Fremen's sitting a lot of authority too. Now, if you're floating authority on Fremen, ally or siege or take territories. You know. Here, I'd probably take these regions. Just because I wouldn't want them to get annexed by Atreides. And they are your... this one you could bunker up, so I would definitely do that and get more manpower, but... You know, if you capture this, you can move your maintenance center here, open up regions, building slots in other regions too.
Speak plainly, Ned.
This army's looking better. Alright, 5 days. We have Dune Gov on the docket, and we've got 950, almost 1,000 votes on Carino, probably towards Gov. It looks like Hark's got 250, Frem's got 200, so they should have enough, I think, to outvote Carino. Carino probably will not be able to survive, right? If Fremen want to become eligible here, what Fremen would do is they'd ally up all their sieges, and then they'd be eligible. Oh, they need to capture 2 more regions. Well, they are floating authorities, so capture these 2 regions. Probably this region and this region. Yeah, capture these 2. Maybe keep this one for spiking later. Maybe capture these 2, and then you're eligible, right? But yeah, an Algaib Temple over here is going to increase the max that Fremen can store significantly too, right? It's 50 per allied siege, so an extra 350 max influence, and you also get a little extra resource, a little better eco. So we'll see. Again, they should be able to outvote Carino here, and Fremen looks like they are newly not capped. Looks like they must have built their Algaib Temple somewhere. On this one, okay, perfect, yeah. So a little late on that, but it's okay. They'll have enough still. It should have enough to outvote Carino here. But this is the thing, right? This is a smart thing about getting speakers, Carino, is you can offer a very, very juicy thing here as speaker. You can find a very enticing, you know, breaking a win con sort of charter up. And you just need someone to send 100 votes on something else. And, you know, tax negotiations is nice, but no one here is realistically in a Chom victory setup right now. So I think this is probably, it really should be simple for people in the lobby to vote this down. it doesn't have insider trading either. With insider trading, theoretically, I think Carino could actually get this, but yeah, Carino's missed out here on some pretty key techs as well. Let's see if Carino can sneak this by. So we get 300 from Hark, right? We get 230, so we're at 530, plus, what is this, another 650? And then Carino's got like a little under 1100, so yeah, I think they can vote this down. It'll be close with the minor votes, but all in from everyone, they should be safe. And they blew their load. Now, if you're a Carino in this situation, you have votes, right? He didn't put any votes on anything. So you can either put 400 here just to check them, or you could just, you know, put 200, 200, get your assassins, get your tax negotiation, and now you're laughing your way to the bank while they blew up all their influence, right? They just bumped this back up. The thing is, Carino needs to think, okay, let's say they get Gov. Now you gotta blow up these bases. Fremen would love to blow up these bases, right? They're waiting for it. It's a pretty vulnerable one here. So, Hark is gonna try to take this bunker here. There is an Overlord. It is tanking to the face some of these. Is there red fluid on these? Yeah. So red fluid's very dangerous with these Serbs. What you do is you send in a few skirms up front, you knock out the Serbs, you retreat, and you re-engage once the stacks wear off the Executioners. The donkeys need to basically just focus the Overlord, though. And you can see red fluid is killing all these Serbs, right? Because they're in combat. From an army, they're pretty bunched, and half of them are not engaging. And I don't think there's enough skirms here. So the skirms you send in to wipe out this chaff, you retreat, and then you re-engage once the chaff's dead. And these donkeys, I would rather see them just take out the Overlord, but you know. These stacks, when you're fighting against them, are just, they're too much to deal with, right? Well, that's a Sard, too. Interesting. It's a Sard with 50% more attack speed from Bloodthirsty. Jeez. So yeah, as Fremen, ideally what you want to do here is you send in skirmishers, like 4 of them. When you worm in with the skirms, too, you'll basically one-tap all of the light, the chaff in there. But you send them in. Oh, is that donkey going to be able to slow him down? Yeah, he can kill his donkey if he kill the Overlord if he deploys it. 1 more. 2 more. Oh, there's no slow on it. Oh, there's no gear upgrade at all on the donkeys. The poor donkeys. Bummer. Now, some people would say this is a prime opportunity to say, hey, Fremen's army's wiped, go pick stuff off them. Which, if you're Hark, that's not a bad idea, right? You're going to be able to get people to apply pressure as you take this, right? For Atreides, taking the Spice Field is probably what they want to do. For Carino, they're probably going to go for this special, but, you know, in my mind right now, Atreides is the problem, you know? Yeah, Fremen's in the lead. Atreides is going to be a lot harder to push off. And again, Fremen's on 3 fronts spread out all over the map. But, you know, if you're playing for... Oh, man. There goes Raban. This is good. So if there's not a lot of stacks, focus executioners like this is smart. If there are stacks, then you don't engage them necessarily. It's usually better off to kill other stuff, retreat, and re-engage. Othams use their little ability too. Awesome. So this is defended over here. But again, this is a place where had Atreides gone for the spice field, they'd be able to take it. If Carino had gone for this special or this special, they'd be able to take it because Atreides, Fremen for one is really depleted, but also is going to be all the way down here. So they can't just fly up here after to engage you. They need to find a worming path. They have to have a worm available. It costs a ton of intel, which Fremen actually has plenty of with Ramallo, but that's how I think about that. And right now, again, Atreides is kind of the problem. They've got plenty of regions here in the back, including a Sandfall to annex. And we see Fremen is going to come over here and try to deal with... They put a Hidden Thumpers in the desert here, so they're going to come over here and try to aggro onto Atreides. And it looks like they're talking to Hark about it, too. Are they going to go for Sandfall? Yeah, they're going for Sandfall. Smart. Now, the only issue with this is there's no way to reinforce this. So Fremen is playing like they have airfields. I think what I'd rather see is Fremen probably coming here for Cruiser Wreck in the middle and letting Hark go to the south or go to the basin or something. But without a siege to reinforce, this is going to be hard for them to keep. They could capture this one. This has siege on it, so that's definitely doable. Let's take a look at the Hark schemes. Still planning what we thought. Carino is just surviving. Border defense. Oh, it looks like a dog needs to go outside to pee. So we're going to follow the intrepid Fremen as we let the dog out. You guys can watch the Fremen's perspective. Right. Hopefully we'll see the end of this, and oh my gosh, wow, just barely. The collective effort was able to save them from, man, it's a tight one. So we'll take a look here. So Fremen is doing a little split action. I like this a lot. We'll trigger Liberation. That, oh, a capture. Okay, I would have probably done Liberation here just to pull Militia in. And I think Atreides is now realizing that there's a two-pronged assault here, right? So Fremen will not win this fight over here. Although a worm would be nice. You would want it on the Fremen.
We trust you, Liet.
And for this, what you can do is Atreides is just shuttle them in your Kraken, right? Ceasefire, smart. Over here we have Liberation. We do not have this allied up, so for Fremen, unfortunately, we did not see the Fremen Raiders coming to help. Although that'd be... Oh, I'm so sorry, I misspoke. We're on the wrong perspective.
At your service.
This is a pretty nasty-looking army here, too. Not bad from Atreides. Fremen's going to retreat back to Sandfall. Altar's coming out. It's great. The other thing we expect to see here is at some point, Fremen will get forced truce by Jessica. We have political entente, so when that happens and you betray to continue this capture, you have 4 more Landsrat guards. So Atreides just has to hold on till the next spikes tax. They're passive, and then peaceful annexations will carry the rest, right? They have a cheap annexation here in the backfield. They have several of them, actually. They've got 184, making 9.7. It's actually kind of low. Huh. Oh, they don't have 3 on, they have Outpost? No, okay, yeah, so they're just missing their 3rd slot there. That's fine. So Hark is going to come in now. Unclear why they are attacking Fremen. This is going to be effective, but now Hark has to basically serially betray Atreides. So I understand you don't want Fremen to have this, but you need to have a plan, right? And doing this post hoc's not going to cut it. So, you know, I think maybe they're thinking Fremen would basically jump in the first, which they would if they took this, but Fremen you can betray, or, you know, can't force truce you. Fremen can't annex stuff cross-map with a ceasefire to stop it. Sure, they have easy stuff in the back and higher authority production, but, you know, they're far more easy to decap at this stage in the game. There's stuff all over the map that can be liberated from Fremen, including this up here, which they'll get from a Carino. So, yeah, you know, let Carino have this, I guess, but then Carino needs to think about how they stop Atreides, right? They should be coming over here for Worm's Nest. That's pretty easy. And they actually might get liberated on Worm's Nest by some random raiders from a siege. And this would be a little bit of king-making from Carino, which, you know, Carino's not necessarily out of it. Oh, no, Othim's got to get out of there. Othim's going to die. That's a bummer. Yeah, sometimes with Fremen, these units will remain stealthed when in combat. If they're not actually in combat. And so they won't actually engage, they'll stay here, and it's really annoying. Very frustrating. So Fremen's trying to do the right thing, liberating Atreides. Looks like they are met with some opportunism by Carino, which again, I think this is a smart idea, but he should really be looking to take this too. Atreides is weakened. Atreides is way out of position. Hark doing this, I also don't understand. They should really be going for Cruiser in addition to Sandfall, but you know, Atreides wins this pretty easily if the others don't act, you know, yesterday. Atreides is a faction where if they get Gov, for example, you really need to make a push long before they actually get it. And if they're this far ahead, you need to have made a lot more of an effort to liberate them. Because again, you get Force Truce. When you get Force Truce, yeah, you can betray them, look at Lance Red Guard, it's a pain in the butt. Your eco goes to shit. But they also, you know, can ruin your win con of Chom, for example, if you have to betray them. So, yeah, this goes to Atreides. Fremen did well, though. You know, it's again hard because you have to kind of front run as Fremen almost necessarily. You have to plan on losing territory as well. And so I think that how do you prevent some of this? You can try to take a bunker here to hold this. Taking Sandfall down here, I think, was to prevent Atreides from taking it, which I'm fine with. But the rest of it's all pretty tough. Again, no one's contesting Atreides. The people who are going to lose aren't contesting the person who's about to win. So, kind of hard to think about how that makes a whole lot of sense. And I think that if Fremen truces one or the other, really needs to capitalize on one of those neighbors being punished more. Because if Carino's dead, Carino can't really do this, right? And now Fremen can expand up here. Is it going to help them? Maybe the deep desert helps them cap the cruiser wreck. You know, then they only have this one person over here, and of course the trade is going to try to expand, but I think Fremen going for a base kill here probably makes the most sense at that point in the game. Of course, you don't want people to leave or lose that early, but at this point, they're not helping Fremen to win it anyway, or themselves. It's really just helping potentiate Atreides winning. They're not contesting Worm's Nest. They're supplying pressure on Fremen. So, take a look at Lance Rad. Looking for the Hark here. Hark has a cell up here, a cell over here, and a cell down here. So yeah, these are three separate sorts of cell searches you need. They're the three closest, though. So these should be somewhat intuitive for Fremen to figure out. Let's take a look here. So Atreides is flying back in. We still don't have our gear upgrades on the donkeys, but Othame, I believe, is dead. Yeah. And so yeah, I think maybe a Thumper here can save this, but all we need is a ceasefire and this game's over. Yeah, we have tax coming in 2 days. We got 50 passive and an annexation next door. So GG to Atreides, you know. And to the others, it's hard to say whether they're really going for a win con necessarily. I think maybe Carino's going for Gov, but it can't be your only win con, right? Same with Hark. Yeah, they bought a little bit of Chom, but they're pretty far behind in terms of hedge. And so killing one off gives Fremen that advantage they need, but also makes it easier for them to then press Atreides with only one neighbor. In this case, they got attacked by two neighbors while trying to attack the lead, and that's just, it's too much for someone in second place without airfields. Hark's just going to kingmake here, I think. Is that a nuke? Oh, from Atreides. So let's take a look here. So with Hark, right, if you take a territory and you lose it, Instill Fear decreases the price by half. So they can take middle, the middle and so he may not realize this, but yeah, he can take both these for under 300 authority. But yeah, I mean, killing Fremen is good, but these are two specials that he lost early on that Atreides retook. Taking these two buys time. Taking this and killing Fremen off with an assassination, that's 3 specials they can retake, which is pretty good. Basically puts them back on par with Atreides, right? If Atreides loses those 2 specials, at least they're close. But Hark can come back, especially if they lose territory. They're kind of built for it. And as far as like a second win con is concerned, again, I think if anyone, I would have gone for an assassination on Atreides and fighting Fremen, because Fremen doing a cross map push like this, you probably could actually force them off. But yeah, always fun for some Dune. I am being viciously attacked or guilted by a golden retriever to go feed her food and take her on a walk. So that's what I'm gonna do.